Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Anupama, Professor at Department of Economics, Punjabi University, Patiala. I am here talking on behalf of Dr. Falinder Kumar Sudan, Professor, Department of Economics, University of Jammu. I am going to talk about the module Population, Greenhouse Gas Emissions and Climate Change from Demography of Climate Change Adaptation. So students, we are going to discuss how population growth leads to greenhouse gas emissions, which further result in drastic changes in climate. The rapid population growth and economic growth are the root causes of greenhouse gas emissions. How far population dynamics have an effect on climate change is still debated. The factors influencing climate change are part of most policy debates. But population is rarely part of all such discussions. Various studies attempted to understand the mechanisms and complexity of population and climate interactions. Besides the increase in the size of population, the changes in composition of population, that is, the changes in age structure, rural-urban residence, the household structure, etc., also generate significant climate effects. According to the Impact, Vulnerability and Adaptation Group, population dynamics are critical for building climate change, resilience, and using adaptation strategies. Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that is IPCC, indicates that global warming is occurring mostly due to emission of anthropogenic greenhouse gases. Global warming and its consequent adverse impacts present grave challenges for human population. The economic growth, technological changes, and population growth causes more greenhouse emissions. It is difficult to establish a clear and direct linkage between population growth and climate change. Human vulnerability to climate change impacts is influenced by a number of factors such as geography, infrastructure, access to capital, social and cultural factors, and the demographic changes. The population-climate interactions are very complex processes. The recent climate models have an important limitation in terms of the demographic aspect. This module aims to answer the questions how population changes have an effect on accumulation of global greenhouse gas emissions and resulting climatic changes, how recent demographic trends affect efforts at world level to adapt to climate change, how population policies can be helpful in climate change mitigation and adaptation efforts. Now let us talk about population trends and emission growth. First of all, we have a look at the historical relationship. According to historical evidence, the rapid population growth parallels increases in economic growth, energy consumption, and greenhouse gas emissions. During 1800 to 2000, energy use increased 35 times, carbon emissions increased 20 times, and the world's population increased 6 times. At the same time, the gross domestic product increased 70 times. During the same period, technological changes have significantly improved energy efficiency and reduced carbon intensity. The role of population growth and consequent increase in consumption to greenhouse gas emissions is highly debatable. The rapid population growth, economic development, and technological change influenced energy consumption and carbon emissions. In past, a 1% increase in carbon emissions is generally associated with a 1% increase in population. This is indicated mainly by a number of studies during 2003 and 2004. There are many IPCC climate models, and we can discuss these. According to IPCC climate models, the major determinants of the growth in greenhouse gas emissions are population growth, economic growth, technological change, and changes in energy and land use. This can also be observed from figure 1. In the figure, the 2A scenarios of top branches of the climate scenario tree show high economic growth, while the 2B scenarios of the bottom branches depicts a more environmentally friendly development pattern. The 2-1 scenario on the left branches assume a more globalized world, while the 2 scenarios on the right branches assume less global cooperation, less technology transfers, and little support provided by the rich countries to the global poor. Thus, we have 2A's and 2B scenarios. The table 3 summarizes the chief characteristics of these 4 families of scenarios. The A1 and B1 scenario assume low population growth, B2 assumes medium population growth, and A2 assumes high population growth. For GDP growth, we have medium growth in A2 and B2 scenario, high growth in B1 and very high growth in A1 scenario. As far as energy use is concerned, it is very high in A1, high in A2, medium in B2, and low in B1 scenario, while the land use changes are low or medium in case of A1, medium or high in A2, high in B1, and medium in B2 scenario. There has been a mixed association between carbon emissions and population growth in the future decades. The carbon emissions will be low under the slow population growth scenario, that is B1, and high under the fast population growth scenario, that is A2, and will fall somewhere in the middle under the medium population growth scenario, that is B2. However, on the other hand, in the 2 scenarios with the same population A1 and B1, A1 produces much higher emissions than B1. A1 assumes the highest level of economic growth and rapid technological changes in energy efficiency. In B1 scenario, economic growth pattern is not as rapid and is more environmentally friendly. A1 scenario assumes lower population growth than A2. The level of emissions in A1 is similar to or even higher than A2 before the year 2070. Thus, higher population growth means more greenhouse gas emissions. However, same population growth but different economic and technological patterns produce different emission outcomes. Moreover, in certain situations, the effects of population growth on future carbon emissions may be less substantial than economic growth and technological changes for several decades. Now, it is important to understand the demographic impacts on emissions. The population size is the demographic variable influencing emissions. It is generally assumed that each individual in a population shares the same pattern of productive and consumptive behavior. However, this assumption is inaccurate and misleading. Various population groups have different consumptive and productive patterns. Therefore, with the changes in population of various groups, the emissions also change. The demographic impact on future climate change depends on the consumption and emission behaviors of population groups. The consumption and emission behavior are different in population groups in developed as well as the developing economies. Population in small and large households, residents of rural and urban areas, and young groups and elderly populations. The consumptive and productive behavior patterns in rural and urban populations differ significantly. The per capita greenhouse gas emissions for the urban and rural populations are 20 and 10 units respectively. The average per capita emission of the community is estimated at 15 units. In the base year, the total greenhouse gas emissions is 15 lakh units. After 5 decades, if population doubles and the proportion of urban population remain the same, the average per capita greenhouse gas emissions will continue to be 15 units. The total emissions will go up to 30 lakh units due to increase in total size of population. Therefore, there would be no need to account for urban-rural differences in the demographic component of climate models. After 5 decades, if urbanization occurs significantly and the community becomes fully urbanized, the average per capita greenhouse gas emissions will increase to 20 units and the total emissions will be 40 lakh units, significantly higher than 30 lakh units with no significant rural-urban differences. The demographic characteristics are linked to different patterns of energy consumption. The future changes in total size of population, age composition, urbanization, and declining average size of household will be important demographic trends in the coming decades. According to the recent population projections by United Nations, the global population will continue to grow and this population growth will occur in the developing world. The proportion of urban population will increase from 48% in 2005 to about 70% in 2050. In the coming decades, almost all world population growth will take place in the urban areas of developing countries. Population aging will occur in both developed and developing nations. The proportion of the elderly, that is, those aged 60 plus, will increase from 10% in 2005 to 22% in 2050. An increasing proportion of population will be living in smaller households. These population changes have significant implications for carbon emissions. Besides economic growth, technological changes, and population dynamics, the changes in total population size, age, composition, urbanization, and household shrinking are important in future climate change. Household shrinking and emissions. The households are both the consumption and production units. The demographic, economic, and technological effects on energy consumption are very significant. The demographic factors alone contribute 76% of the total increase in energy consumption. This is attributed to changes in the household composition. The proportion of smaller households to the total number of households has increased in recent past. The per capita energy consumption of smaller households is significantly higher than that of bigger households due to loss of economies of scale. This causes significant increase in total energy consumption even though the population growth rate has slowed. Now it is interesting to look at the impact of aging and urbanization on emissions in China. China's annual carbon emissions will increase from 1.2 GTC in 2000 to 3.8 GTC by the end of the century. We can see this fact from figure 3. This projection takes into account the effects of aging as well as urbanization. The carbon emissions are 45% higher in 2100 than projections without taking aging and urbanization aspect. Urbanization causes more carbon emissions due to higher per capita fossil fuel consumption in urban China. Aging in China will also contribute to higher carbon emissions in 2030. Thereafter, with the decline in the labor force, the emissions are also expected to decline. Now, we will also know the impact of aging and technological change on emissions in the USA. Under certain situations, the impact of population aging on carbon emissions is larger than technological changes. To explain the impact of aging and technological changes on future carbon emissions, 4 cases are analyzed in figure 4. The first case is that of considering changes in population size and no technological change or aging, total emissions will increase from 1.5 GTC in 2000 to 3.6 GTC in 2100. The second case states that with technological change and aging, the lowest annual increase in carbon emissions will take place up to about 2 GTC by the end of century. The third case states that the population aging will generally lead to low emissions due to less energy consumption up to 2050. The changes in aging may have more significant impacts on emissions up to 2085. The fourth case states that the improvement in technology will reduce intensities of energy consumption and carbon emissions substantially. Before 2085, the emissions will be higher with only technological change than with only aging. Now let us talk about population trends and adaptation to climate impact. Climate mitigation may be the best means of avoiding climate risks. However, climate mitigation may not be the adequate strategy to address the adverse impact of climate change very effectively. According to the IPCC, global greenhouse gas emissions will continue to increase up to 2020. The global warming is inevitable due to the persistence of carbon in the atmosphere. Climate change is likely to cause large-scale and irreversible effects. Many consequences of global warming are observed regularly. Lower incidence of warming, that is 1 to 2.5 degrees Celsius, is likely to benefit agricultural and transportation activities in some regions of the world and cause net costs to others in short run. In the long run, greater warming would produce net costs in all regions. The poor people in the developing nations are likely to bear adverse impacts of climate change. Therefore, efficient adaptation strategies are required to address climate change in these countries. All this calls for better understanding vulnerability and adaptation approaches and demographic factors including fertility rates, population growth rates, urbanization, and encroachment into ecological marginal areas. Uneven effects of climate change. The impact of climate change on human population is not evenly distributed across regions. The climate-related hazards such as cyclones, droughts, floods, and landslides were concentrated in certain areas of the world, and the rest of the areas relatively are risk-free. This can be observed from figure 5. In this figure, the number of hazards is shown in different colors. The countries or the regions with one hazard per capita are indicated by yellow, while with 4 or more hazards per capita are indicated by red color. More poor people at higher risk of climate-related hazards. Low-income population had been more affected by climate-related hazards compared to high or middle-high income population. The poor people are likely to be affected more by droughts, floods, and landslides. The rich people are affected due to climate episodes of cyclones. Not only this, the poor and vulnerable groups are expected to be increasingly hit hardest by future climate change. According to IPCC projection, population of sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia will suffer the most from climate change. At the same time, population in high latitudes will not have any impacts or even benefit from climate change. The population densities are significantly higher in low income or low middle income regions compared to middle or high income regions. Poor population groups are vulnerable to climate change. They live in fragile areas, more susceptible to climate hazards. They depend on climate-sensitive environment for driving their livelihoods and survivals. They have fewer resources to cope with the impact of climate change. Rapid population growth poses challenges for better schooling, employment opportunities, and infrastructure. All this adds to the vulnerability of poor people to climate change. Due to loss of agricultural lands, food production declines, which causes increasing flow of rural migrants into the urban areas, who generally settle down in marginal areas which are again more prone to climate hazards. Therefore, the poor people in developing nations are unable to cope with ongoing climate change. Now let us discuss about the policy implications. The demographic factors are important for mitigation and adaptation to climate change. The international efforts to promote smaller family size by using voluntary family planning and other development efforts started in 1960s. Since 1960s, there was a rapid decline in fertility in developing countries due to effective family planning and reproductive health programs, along with some effect of increasing income. Keeping in view the fertility decline in the past decades, the UN Population Division adjusted downwards its medium population projection for 2000 from 6.26 billion to 6.06 billion. In the same way, the medium population projection for 2050 was also adjusted downward from 9.8 billion to 8.9 billion. The differences between a population size of 8.9 billion and 9.2 billion over 50 years may not appear to be significant at global level. However, the global picture of relatively stable population growth conceals very significant regional shifts. The rapid growth of population in sub-Saharan Africa was offset by lower population growth in Eastern Europe and China. Family planning and reproductive health possess significant implications for future dynamics in the least developed countries. They have higher population density and more susceptible to the adverse impacts of climate change. Least developed and developing countries can speed up their demographic transition with the help of family planning and reproductive health. This will enable them to achieve demographic windows of opportunity through rapid economic growth as has been observed in East Asia and other parts of the world. By reducing population growth, these countries can slow the growth of greenhouse gas emissions. Slow population growth can also help these countries to promote education, advance technological progress, achieve rapid economic growth, and increase their resilience and capacity to adapt to climate change and to meet the Millennium Development Goals. So students, let us sum up what we have learned from this module. To sum up, we can say that in recent times, the climate change has become a major global challenge with very strong implications for human well-being and security. Climate change has the potential to exacerbate the risk of armed conflict over resources. It is responsible for population displacement and large-scale population migration within the nations and across national boundaries. Therefore, there is an urgent need to address impact of climate change through development policies and, of course, to meet the Millennium Development Goals. Besides, investment in family planning and reproductive health, girls' education, economic opportunities, and empowering of women and youth is essential to speed up the process of demographic transition in least developed countries. All this will provide demographic windows of opportunity to achieve rapid economic growth to cope with adverse impacts of climate change. Therefore, population dynamics is essential in operationalizing the climate change and adaptation strategies. The adaptation strategies must meet the needs of the most vulnerable populations, including the women, rural poor, and other disadvantaged groups of the society. Besides, a spirit of environmental stewardship and international cooperation are required to address emissions reduction and growing problems of population dynamics, including population growth, household structure, urbanization, and aging. There is need to promote population policies and programs aiming at universal voluntary contraception. The population policies should be linked to policies related to development and poverty reduction, including the achievement of MDGs for more sustainable demographic future and climate change adaptation and the mitigation efforts. That's all with this lecture. I hope you must have enjoyed it. Thank you.